Noah's Green Tide. We have 2 pain boys, 2 war bosses, and then the weird boy as the warlord for that fixed mission play. 4 20-man units of boys plus a 10-man unit of boys, 1 truck, 1 battle wagon, 5 flash kits, 1 Gretchen, a 10-man unit of commandos, 2 5-man units of boys, and then 2 tank buster units. So he did have to drop a truck. This used to have 2 trucks with 2 SWAT teams into play on them. With the increases in the units that he wanted to keep, which was the boys and the leaders and the tank busters in themselves, he still ended up just dropping the other SWAT teams. And he did decide to keep the wagon, right? That was something that he was not sure about. Do I need it? Do I want it? He still finds it to have good value and plays for staging and its ability to bait the enemy out for its point cost. Helps with kind of moving things around and staging too. So Noah still bought it, but he ended up having to pay the cost of the additional truck. So that means you lose even less units. So how this usually plays out is you have the weird boy with the 20 boys. Each war boss and pain boy gets put into one big brick, and then there's a brick that doesn't have a character. So the unit that doesn't have a character ends up kind of acting as the first wave to draw enemy units, and then to actually have a proper wall. I don't think I'm muted, right? What's up? Hopefully not. So then we have so that's usually typically how it plays out. We do have that covered where we have him talking about it also on our members video where he goes into a deep dive on it, and other videos where we covered it with actual his notes that can be found in our Discord on the PDF on how to run this as well. So if you still have interest in the Green Tide after this, you can check it out. But let's take a look at his actual path to victory. Another thing to check out is our sponsor, the Baron of Dice. They make high quality custom dice. If you enjoy our content and want to show some love, check out the Baron of Dice custom dice, including WAAAGH Tactics official dice. To support us, use our discount code in the description for 5% off because nobody likes taxes. And of course, shout out to Forge Fire Gaming. They offer competitive terrain sets that I use at home that comes pre-painted with slotted acrylic bases, allowing for easy building removal and measuring and alignment with it itself. Check it out in the description and check out our paint competition. This month we have the Stompa, so you can get a set of those WAAAGH Tactic dice real quick. And I was like, man, am I muted? I don't think I am, you guys. Someone said that. You guys are cracking up. Let me open this chat back up so I can see you big-headed gets. He said, unnerf more Dakako. We can reset DG and Emperor's Children meta. And that brings up the tried and true question that's always been brought into play. What if GW just let things play out as they brought out more codexes just a little longer? Now, not that I think more Naka was okay with where it's at, but if you gave it like a minor tweak, that way when these new codexes came in, if they were already deemed as pretty strong by your playtesters or whatever, then at least we can see them try to hold out to each other and make the meta a little more safe. But at the same time, then it becomes, are those the only detachments that have any play in all of 40k? Then does it go back to, well, now you can only play those chaos and the orcs and everybody's just toxic at the top? So that's always what's put out in play. So it's not that I'm choosing a side necessarily, but if I had to choose, I would tell you, Jay Hoon. Whoa! And of course, as orcs, we carry on because it doesn't matter who's there. We're there to crump. And of course, we're not muted. All right. Shout out to Jay Hoon. All right. Someone said muted. I'm trying to fake me out. This new feature, you guys. No, I'm just kidding. So let's take a look at Noah's game real quick. So love this kid. He's always showing off, but he did say some interesting things after this. So for his first matchup, he goes into Space Marines. We have Lieutenant with combi weapon, Malnese Calgar, Ubute Gilman. Intercessors, 2 units of Dreadnoughts, a Centurion assault squad. So that's kind of fun. I actually kind of like Centurions. I have Imperial Fist Space Marines. A lot of them are fully painted that I own. But if I played Space Marines at all right now, I'd find a way to play with some Centurion. I would try to fit some. A company of heroes unit, Incursor, Outrider, Scout, 2 units of Storm Speeder Hammerheads, and then a Storm Raven gunship. So this actually has been having play where you still use the gunship. It can deliver units in some of those dreadnoughts. It can focus down enemy assets that you don't want them to kill. It's not necessarily easy to kill itself. It could drop into like its hover mode kind of focused way and kind of move around the field as like a mobile gun platform. Or like a little flying dread land raider, of course, with the double oath. But when you're playing with this many kind of boys, it does draw on a lot of their assets and to require like the combined arms asset of this army to move up and try to take out those boys. And if they're not experienced with how to control the orc rate, then Noah will kind of start touching them, bad touching, moving up the field, eroding them, their assets, and then there's not enough to really dig the Marines out of the hole once the orcs have delivered their wall and picked up too many of their assets. So 90-point win there right right there for Noah. Shout out to him. And then he goes into his second game, where he ends up losing, which is into the Space Marine Chaos Cult. We have Cypher, Dark Apostle, Dark Commune, and Sorcerer and Terminator Armor. One unit of cultist mob, and then 2 units. Sorry, 3 10-man units of a cursed. Excuse, yeah, I messed that up. 1 battle line unit of cultist mob, and then 3 big bricks of accursed cultist, followed by a chaos biker squad, 3 of those, and then 3 units of noise marines, followed by nurglings and 2 war dog huntsmen. All right, sorry, I got all tongue twisted there. So we got 3 of those ACDC bricks, right? So these guys are fast, excellent for actually killing orc boy units. So for their actual big thick boys that they have in these units, actually, yeah, here we go. These hideous mutations, they actually get like D6 punches each, strength 6. What you said right here? Oh, he said he ended up losing this one because it didn't let us start round 5, so they timed out. He ended up losing this one. What's up? Oh no, what? Yeah, and our video. That's such a good. That's actually a great YouTube little picture there, right there, dude. I love that. So he said this round, I lost because the clock rules didn't let us start round 5. He put you, but he meant I. I understood there. Shout out to you. What's up for being here? Whoa! But these guys do actually have some good threat into orcs as well. So you got to play the game as a good a tempo, as you have, ability to kill them. They have the ability to kill us to a certain degree. Then we have the biker units for scoring, the noise marines for all their shooting, and then the war dog huntsmen. These guys have respectable OC, so if they taunt to an objective, it does require you to get enough boys bring it in and kind of keep that going for throughout the whole game. But nonetheless, he said that just ended up losing his way there. They did start round 5. Yeah, and then we move on because we're going to talk about how his thoughts a little bit as a whole at the end of it. So then we're going to move on to his third his third matchup was against Drukhari. So we have Lilix Hexbrats, followed by Big Brick of 10 Cabalite Warriors. Actually, 2 of those. Followed by Witch unit, 2 5-man units of Drakes, 2 6-man Reaver. 3 6-man Reavers. Sorry, we wasn't expecting that. Followed by 3 Chronos, 3 units of 2 Talos, Void Raven Bomber, and then 3 units of Venom. So a bunch of these 3x3. I kind of like that. It's pretty good little matchup there. So Eldar do actually have some, killing potential. They do have to be respected. Once you make contact with enough of these kind of thicker assets between the Chronos, the Talos, and don't give the Void Raven any good targets or good places to land, then it does become like a thing where you can end up kind of duking it out with them and killing them throughout the middle of the table. So 89-point win there. Shout out to Noah, always executing a great wall with the Green Tide. And then we move into his 4th game, which was against Astra Militarum. We have a Catachan Command Squad, Commissar, Gaunt's Ghost, followed by Militarum Tempest Command Squad, Ministorm Priest, Nork's Dead Dog, Rogel Dorn Commanders, 2 of them. Then for Battle Line, we have a big brick of Catachan Jungle Fighters, which out. So they get up there, get up the field early, followed by a Death Corps of Krieg unit. So the thing about these guys is they do have feel no pain, they have a little bit of staying power. Then, of course, remember when you're playing Astronaut Time, they can just regen one of these guys for 2 CP. Followed by a Thorax Prime with dedicated transport, 2 Cadian heavy weapon squads. I think that's pretty fun. But they have, of course, their mortars as well, so not fun for us. Then we have Hellhounds, followed by Lehman Russ Exterminator, Ogren Squad. Ogren Squad, what's up with the Ripper guns? That's the point increase on the other variants. The Bullgren makes people these a little bit more interesting. Kind of tough, kind of interesting. I'd be excited to see those on the other side of the field as an orc player, and I'd be like, yeah, let me crump them. So a Scout Sentinels, 2 of those, followed by a Tempestus Scion squad. A little unorthodox kind of orc guardsman list. I think that them bringing the bricks is just like, all right, we'll throw our bricks and kill you and just keep moving our way up the field and chugging it with the initiative. Easier said than done against guard. You can the Dorn commanders can go off and still kill you, but Noah pulled off a 100-point win, so things went his way. And then we go on to his last game. He said Bayonet nearly killed the Naked Man units. Who's that? Bonnet? I don't know who that is. Game was super tough, lots of fun. So that's awesome. Then we have Tyranids with Blob Annihilation. What the heck? Oh, Assimilation Swarm. Okay, I was like, what the heck? We have a Hive Tyrant, a Swarm Lord, Biovore, Harlspex, followed by a Lictor, Psychophage, Pylovores, two of them, three units of Pylovores. Oh, okay. Because two of these Pylovore units are 3-man. All right. A lot of flamers right there. Not bad. Raven unit, Reaver unit, Ravener. 3 Ripper Swarms, followed by 2 Tyrannofexes with Rupture Cannons. All right, so they don't have the acid spray. That would be a more interesting for the Tyranid player. Then 2 units of Tyrant Guard, followed by Venom Throat. So the Tyrant Guard acting like little bodyguards up here, probably. Yeah, for the Swarm Lord and the Hive Tyrant. They give them Feel No Pains, from what I remember. So that's pretty fun. Interesting. Only 52 points for the win there. So a low scoring game, but ultimately still a W still in the end. So yeah, this one they didn't even get to start round 5. So in the end, he said the universe evened out. So he said in this case, this one wasn't time went out here too, which is interesting because Noah does get a lot of reps. So I'm not saying it was his fault. Just the game takes a lot of time because even the opponent ends up using every single one of their dice to shoot you, to kill you. So you might think, well, was it this? Is Noah? No, Noah is, we'll just say proven, got his golden ticket. He's probably using his clock correctly and he's good about it. You've seen people, org players, shout out to Matt Welsh, that where he was running Green Tide. A lot of org players already have their dice on the side and where their casualty count bodies are going. They're really organized, but the enemies, when they're not used to it, end up being like, well, oh my gosh, I got to roll my dice to try to actually kill this, and I'm overthinking it. And if I shoot here, they're gonna surge into me, and then they're gonna regrow and steal the objective, and all this different things. So it ends up taking both sides a lot of time. That's all I'm saying. As for Noah, he still said he got best overall. He was happy about that. So shout out to you. That's fun. But as he thinks going forward, he's not really going to be using Tide anymore. Try to have a little bit of fun with it. And in all, I just wondered, is something like this also going to be able to hold out against the new codexes that are coming into play? So it comes down to between, Emperor's Children, Death Guard, World Eaters, their ability to really focus down these Thousand Suns, their ability to focus down possible bricks of Boyz could be another reason why you don't really see as much Green Tide being played either anymore. And Noah's actually here in chat, so Noah, let me know what you think right now. But a lot of the time orc players are already looking at it as I'm dying a little too quick into these armies. Are we going to end up changing into a more MSU kind of threat saturation overload army? So I'm personally a fan of Green Tide, of course. But we have to see what these armies actually provide. So at the time of this recording, there's also been a little bit of leakage of the possible new missions that are coming out, which look pretty official. We're not going to talk about that right now necessarily as well. So the new missions are coming out to play. We're going to see, does that give us play or reason to keep continuing playing Green Tide either? So Green Tide is always kind of a skew. And of course, like any skew, if the enemy brings just the appropriate tools to deal with your skew, then you kind of falls on the wayside. Is it going to be just so that these detachments and armies, the Space Wolves as well, that are coming out, not necessarily sure they can do it, but are these guys going to be something that's going to deter other orc players from doing it? Noah himself is saying he thinks Tide can still end up doing well. At how much commitment do these people have, right? You might have one Death Guard brick of Death Shroud where they're ultimately using critical 5+s and ultimately super killing one mob of Boyz, but we're about the rest of the battlefield, right? You feed them the 20-man unit of naked Boyz, is that going to end up giving them just enough to hold them back while you kind of eat up the rest of the Death Guard's army? So those are some matchups that you look at it and you think, well, they're ultimately killing 120-man unit of Boyz, but that's then the great part of the redundancy with so many Boyz and the fact that we're going to have Feel No Pain. Feel No Pain seem really important into those new armies and matchups as well. And one more thing Noah thinks, at least right here, is that he thinks the missions are good changes for Tide. So we're not going to talk about necessarily that right now, maybe in another video coming up as for the new missions once they're officially announced. But that's something that we all have to think about when we're playing orc players and playing Tide in itself. It becomes an investment in your mind and your time. So shout out to Noah and good luck on the rest of his orc detachments or whatever he chooses to play going forward. But war for the rise of the Green Tide. If you enjoyed the clip, check out the full video here. If you'd like to see more tactics, click here.
Let's get stuck in, lads!